Can you hear me, ma? Let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just going to remind them.
I can hear you. Just that there's a bit of feedback.
Okay.
I can hear you.
I'll put the earpiece on. Okay, so you can hear me now clearly. I just removed the earpiece.
Exactly. We can hear you clearly. It's better
Oh.
without the earpiece.
All right. So I said we should place reminders, or should I just start right away? Should I just start right away? Or okay.
Yes, let's start.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's good to see us for another edition of the Singles Hangout. It is September edition, and I am so excited to have us here. To those that would catch on the replay, when you start watching the replay, let us get feedback at the end of the replay. Once you watch it finish, let's know how it was for you. And so we'll be starting now. Before I continue, I know for first-time joiners or for those that will be watching this for the first time, you might want to know what the Singles Hangout is all about. You may be wondering, what's the Singles Hangout for? Is it that singles will come and hang out to get their future partners, or singles will come hang out to, you may be wondering, what is it about? And so Singles Hangout is meant to equip us with all we need to know about navigating this period of singlehood and how to prepare for the next phase, which is the phase of marriage, the phase of being married. And so we have been having speakers every year, different speakers every year. And honestly, it's been nothing short of amazing. We've had speakers teach us on what we need to know to just grow and improve diverse aspects of our life, most especially when it comes to relationships. And so this month's edition is on 5 years singles have about marriage and how to tackle them. All right. And so I'd be doing, give me a minute, please. Okay, so I'm back. All right. So today, like I said, I already shared the topic with us, and we have an amazing speaker on the ground to teach us on the fears that singles have. Some of the fears, not all of the fears. So if she's explaining some fears and it's not resonating with you, it's not that what she's saying is not authentic. It may just be you've not had such experience. All right. And so I'd be reading the profile of our speaker shortly, but before then, let us pray. Let us pray briefly. I am a Christian, so I pray the Christian way. Our blessed Redeemer, we thank you for today. We appreciate you for another edition of the Singles Hangout. We thank you for the provision of our speaker. We thank you for all that you've done. You've made possible behind the scenes to make this work. We thank you for the provision of data. We thank you because our equipment, our phones, our mics, they are not working in a terrible way. We thank you because you made this event possible. And so, our Father, Lord, we ask that you grant the speaker utterance, you help her speak to our hearts. And not only would she speak to our hearts, but that our lives will be transformed. And for all those who have fears, that their fears would be replaced with boldness. Their fear will be replaced with courage. Their fear will be replaced with optimism and positivity in the name of Jesus. Thank you, blessed Redeemer, for in Jesus' mighty name we are praying. Amen. All right, thank you so much. Once you join, just drop comments. Drop comments in the comment box to indicate that you're following. And so I'll be reading the profile of our speaker, Dr. Achi. This woman is, let me just say, she's not your regular kind of, conference speaker. People have conferences, we invite people, but this woman is an exceptional woman in her field. And so Dr. Achi Ndifon is a researcher and a senior lecturer in the Department of Educational Foundations, University of Calabar, Nigeria. She holds a PhD in psychology from the University of Calabar. She's a psychological counselor, mental health expert, a journal reviewer, proofreader/editor, and a public speaker. She has published about 30 scholarly articles in reputable local and international journals. Dr. Bekomson is a board member of the World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity and an International Human Rights Commission volunteer. She's a member of many professional associations, some of which are the American Psychological Association, the Nigeria Society for Educational Psychologists, the Teacher Registration Council of Nigeria, and the Psychosocial Society of Nigeria. Her hobbies are reading, writing, researching, traveling, networking, helping people with psychological problems, and making new friends. So join me to welcome Dr. Bekomson to the conference room this afternoon. Over to you, ma'am.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you for this, what do I call it now? Thank you so much. I appreciate and I welcome everyone to this conference room, and I'm happy that I'm going to interact with you soon. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ma. And so, without further ado, we would have our speaker start immediately. But before then, I want us to note that if there's anything you do not understand about what she's explaining, you can note the questions down So it's not that she'll be teaching and want to ask questions immediately. I don't know if it's fine by her, but it's almost always interesting to wait till the end of the lecture before asking questions, because you don't know if your questions can be addressed before the lecture ends. So when the lecture ends and you have questions, please just hold them up for us in the comment section, or better still, wait till you're permitted to use the mic. Thank you so much, Ma. Over to you.
Yeah, I greet you all once again. My name is Dr. Achi Bekomson, just as I've been introduced. And the topic for today is 5 major fears that singles have about marriage. God himself instituted marriage. Marriage is not or wasn't instituted by man, it was instituted by God. And the major reason why God instituted marriage was for procreation. And so why should people be scared of venturing into something that God himself created? It's an error to be scared of what God created, because I believe that before you venture, it means that God has, preordained that it should be. So what is marriage? Because you have to know what marriage is before you think of whether you can get involved or not. Marriage is a union of two. This is my opinion. Marriage is a union of two adults who are not related by blood. They may not be from the same community, who may not come from the same region or country, but they fall in love for the purpose of companionship and procreation. That is my definition of marriage. That means marriage is for two adults who are ready and who have accepted each other and have fallen in love. You cannot go into marriage when you're not in love. You cannot go into marriage with a relation or a brother. So there must be fears. Meeting somebody you have not known, meeting somebody you are not related with, meeting somebody or living with somebody who is not a member of your community or a member of your clan or your family member should be scary, okay? So it's normal to be scared. It's normal to have some fears when it comes to marriage. So let's know some of these things that, we can classify as fear when it comes to marriage. One of such things should be loss of independence. Loss of independence. A lot of young people are afraid of marriage because they believe that when you're into marriage, you're going to let go of those things you used to do. Loss of independence. Some individuals worry about marriage because they believe that marriage might lead to a loss of their personal freedom and independence. Singles may fear that they won't be able to make decisions solely for themselves, like pursuing personal hobbies or personal careers. They may be afraid that they may not have the opportunity of making decisions pertaining to their goals without considering the next and their partner's input. Take, for instance, now, some people might be travelers, or a lady might be a traveler. She might be a business tycoon who moves from country to country. It may not be possible when marriage is involved. Another person might be a worker, maybe her occupation, she might be maybe, let's say, a military personnel. I know in the military, there's nothing like a miss. Everybody is sir, or everybody's regarded as a man. So they might post you anywhere. That alone could be, a source of fear. So the fear of loss of independence in the context of marriage revolves around the concerns that, that entering into a marital partnership might limit one's ability to make autonomous decisions and live a life according to their own preferences. Marriage doesn't give you those opportunities. So that is one of the fears people, singles knows about marriage. It could be autonomy in decision making. You're afraid that you may not be able to make decisions by yourself when you are in marriage. They may have to consult or compromise with their partner on decisions that previously were entirely within their own domain. They might be concerned about having to seek approval for major life choices. Okay, like I mentioned, career, financial investment. Is this man going to take all of my money? Is this situations like time? If you might be scared. This, assuming you're marrying a pastor, for instance, and you used to be the outgoing person who goes out for clubs, you go out for parties, you attend every event around town. When you're getting into marriage, of course, this will creep me. So another thing that can be when it comes to laws of independence should be pursuit of personal goals. You may not be able to pursue your personal goals when you get into marriage. A man who used to keep late night out with friends, of course, marriage curtails all of that. A woman who used to travel around, you go to Dubai to buy goods, you go here, marriage, places some restrictions around that. So the fear of loss of independence is very, very severe. Or a lot of young people, bear this fear within them. Another thing that can come when it concerns fear of loss of independence is time allocation and personal space. Having to live with the same person all over and you're not able to do things your own way. There may be concerns about how time and space are shared in marriage, potentially leading to, a perceived loss of personal freedom. Singles might, worry about not having as much time as, possible for solitary activities, personal hobbies, alone time, especially if their partners, have different preferences for how to spend leisure time. That also can be a major source of fear. And still under loss of freedom, we have social circles and friendships. You might be afraid that when you get into marriage, you may lose your friends. Of course, we have cases where a man marries a woman and says, I don't want to see anybody in my house. We've had cases of a man marries and say, I don't want even your parents to visit. If they want to come, they should call. Those fears creeping when we marry. They worry about feeling pressure to integrate into their partner's social circle. Who is this man? What does he do? Can I fit into his? Can he carry me along? Won't I be intimidated? Okay. Especially, it depends also on the background. When you marry a man who is very rebellious. Hello, can somebody just please? Can people unmute themselves, please? Okay. When you have a man who is, let's say very rich, very influential, and you are from the cradle, you're coming from the slum, you're coming from, I'm not speaking, I'm just teaching, you're coming from a background, a humble background, you might have this fear. Can I fit into his social circle, potentially at the expense of maintaining your own friendships and social activities? So those fears creep in when when young adults are, preparing for marriage. Another thing that can come up is under loss of independence, emotional independence. Okay, they might be afraid of concerns about relying heavily on their partners for emotional support, potentially leading to a sense of dependency. Will I always cry when I have a need? Must I always go to him? When I have something that is bothering me, must I always tell him, will he listen? Can I have a husband or a partner who listens? Can I have a wife who listens? They might worry about losing their ability to cope with challenges or seek emotional comfort independently if they become accustomed to relying solely on their partner for emotional fulfillment. So those are the fears that come up when it comes to losing, one's independence. Then the second fear I have here is the fear of compatibility and long-term commitment. A lot of singles have this fear of compatibility and long-term commitment. If I marry this man now, what would be my faith? Okay, what will be my fate? Will I be able to live with him all day? And what if I marry a man that snores? Can I cope with a man that snores all my life? What if the man loses his job? Will I be able to cope? What if the man just does not like me because what if I get fat along the line and he likes slim women? Will I be able to cope? Or what if this woman at the end of the day discovers that maybe this habit of mine is really not palatable? Will she be able to cope? So we have this Fear of compatibility and long-term commitment. Singles may be concerned about whether they are truly compatible with their partners. You know, in the long run, am I really compatible? Was I just infatuated? Was I just, you know, carried away by, you know, him looking, the partner looking all gorgeous and all expensive? Can we really cope? You know, singles might also worry about potential conflicts over fundamental values, such as religion. I'm talking about compatibility, remember, such as religion, parenting styles, or financial priorities, you know, that could arise in the future. The financial priorities, can I cope? Can I cope? I'm the extravagant type. Can I see a man that can, you know, can contain me? Or the guy can say, I'm an extravagant type. I don't like spending so much. Can I really see a woman who can live with me with this kind of lifestyle? Okay, so the fear of compatibility and long-term commitment in the context of marriage centers on whether a person and their potential partners are truly well suited for a lifelong partnership. So let's explore these fears and see where it takes us. One of those fears under compatibility and long-term commitment is divergent values and beliefs. I earlier said about fear of religion and religion, parenting styles, and all of that. So singles may worry about fundamental differences in values. Okay, they might worry about fundamental differences in beliefs and life philosophies that could lead to conflicts or challenges in the long run. These fears always come up. They might be concerned about differing opinions in important topics. Okay, I've seen a couple who fight because of football. The wife doesn't like football and the man likes football. Most women like African movies, you know. Some of them like, how do they call this? Indian movies, Z World and all of that. The man might like football. They might be scared. This one that I love Z World so much, and this man likes movies, likes football. Can we cope? You know, sometimes quarrels just emanate from very silly things, very little things that you are not even, you know, conscious of. So potentially, that could become a source of contention over time. So singles always get scared about it. Then another thing that can come up under compatibility could be lifestyle and life goals. Singles may, you know, just be scared of, you know, whether their partner shares similar aspirations for the future, including career goals, family planning, and lifestyle preferences. This one that I'm ripe for marriage. Can I see a man that shares the same aspirations? Can I see a man that has the same goals as I do? What if I want to be a full-time, a career woman, and my husband opposes? What do I do? Or what if I am a businessman, for instance, and I travel over the world for businesses, and I get married? Will the woman allow me to do that? Will there be contention? Will there be, you know, acceptance and all of that? I'm a man who likes, you know, maybe I'm a trader, for instance. Can I get a woman who is educated? Will they really accept me as a man? Career goals, family planning. I want to have like 5 children as a man. Is there any woman who would want to have breastfeed 5, 10 children without getting scared of her breast sagging? Those are the fears that come up. I want to marry now, and I don't want this my fine shape to, you know, to be deformed. And I want to have 3 children. Can I really have a man who wants 3 children? Or if I tell the man I want 3 children, will he accept? These are the common fears that singles, knows. Another thing is communication style and conflict resolutions. Singles are always scared of communication styles and conflict resolutions. This fear concerns effective communication and conflict resolution strategies, you know, as these are crucial skills for maintaining a healthy, long-term relationships. Will he listen? Oh God, please give me a man that listens to me. This one that I'm always very angry. Oh God, please let me have a man that at least is kind of little, can listen to me when I speak. These are the things singles are always scared of. Or this one that I'm always very quiet. I hope I will not have a husband or have a wife that will take advantage of this, my quiet nature. I just hope so. Oh God, please help me. We're always scared of things like that. They might worry about challenges in experiencing their needs or concerns. Okay, challenges in expressing their needs or consent. If this man that is always like this, is always frowning, his face is always strong, he's always like, his disposition. Will he listen? This man, will he listen? Or they can be scared about the potential for frequent disagreements. This man that is a lawyer, I hope there will not be disagreements all the time. Will I listen or will he listen? This one that this woman is a lawyer, will he listen? This one that this woman is a teacher or whatever she's doing, she argues a lot. I hope there will be, effective resolution methods in place for this marriage as I'm going in. So these are some of the concerns. Another thing can be personal growth and development, like I said. Some singles might just be scared that being in a committed relationship could hinder their individual growth and personal. I've said so before. So they might worry about feeling constrained or limited in their pursuit of personal goals and self-discovery. Will this man allow me? I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be a film actor or actress. Will this man allow me? I'm a banker. Can I have a husband who tolerates my late hours at work? Those are the fears, the common fears that erupt when singles, are ripe for marriage. Then emotional compatibility. Okay, individuals worry about whether they are emotionally compatible with their partners, which includes factors like levels of emotional support, understanding, and empathy. They might just be concerned about feeling misunderstood or, unsupported in times of emotional distress, which could strain the relationship in the long run. So let's look at concerns about infidelity or betrayal. Fears, some singles may have apprehensions about the potentials, for infidelity or breaches of trust in a committed relationship. This man that is so handsome, this woman that is so beautiful, can I have him all by myself all through a lifetime? Or is somebody going to be, is there going to be a competitor somewhere? Will this man remain faithful? Is this man just being nice now, or when we marry, he will change? This man that is looking at every woman when he's passing or when in church, every sister that passes is stretching his neck to look at the woman. Will this man be faithful? Or this woman that is so beautiful, see her long straight legs and her curvy shape, will this woman always be there for me? Will she be, will she be faithful? This one that every man is looking at her, will she be faithful? And these are the fears. Let me not be like my mother who married and divorced. Can there be peace in my home? These are the, most of the concerns that come. Then the third kind of fear is fear of divorce. Fear of divorce. Singles fear divorce and its consequences. Divorce is a terrible thing. No married person prays for it. So majorly, most singles, as they come into marriage, as they're preparing for marriage or they're getting ready for marriage, one of the things that creeps into their mind is fear of divorce and its consequences. Because our society, has a lot of, things associated to marriage. When a woman is not married, it's a problem. When a woman is divorced or a man is divorced, there's a name tag, there's stigma and all of that. So singles are always scared, okay? The high divorce rates in many societies can lead to a fear of entering a marriage that might eventually end in a divorce. Every single is concerned about that. For example, now, singles may have witnessed their neighbors, their friends, their co-workers, their colleagues, who have been in and out of a marriage or in a difficult divorce process, which can make them apprehensive about experiencing a similar situation. So the fear of divorce and its consequences is a significant concern for many singles considering marriage. And under this divorce and its consequences, singles may worry about emotional and psychological too. They worry about the emotional and psychological distress that can accompany a divorce, including feeling of grief, loss, and potential impact on their mental health. Every single woman, every man, as you're getting ready for marriage, those fears can creep in. You might be concerned about the potential long-term effects on your emotional well-being as well, especially if you've witnessed the emotional toll of divorce on others. It's worrisome for singles who are from broken homes. It's worrisome for singles whose siblings have already divorced. It's worrisome for singles, more worrisome for singles whose parents are separated, or whose neighbors or anybody around you, has a divorce case or has a troubled marriage. Most of those singles worry a lot about divorce and its consequences. Then another thing that can come in is, next fear is financial instability. This one, every young person is afraid of this, because we all want to marry somebody who can take care of us. A man wants to marry a woman who is not a total dependence or a dependent. Okay, he wants to marry a woman who is not a liability, at least somebody who can, put something on the table. Ladies especially want to marry a man who has it. My friend told me that I cannot marry a man who doesn't have a bunch of kids. What does that mean? Doesn't have a car. And another person told me that love is blind. One of my friends told me, I remember very vividly, she told me when I was about to marry my young husband and nothing. My friend told me that she cannot marry a man who doesn't have money, that having a degree and having just a civil service job is not enough for marriage, that she wants to marry a man who can take care of her and her family. She told me vividly that love is not blind, that to her, love wears spectacles. That was how she put it. She says to me, love wears spectacles. He said, Achi, she said, babe, I don't marry. That was how she put it. I don't marry. Love wears spectacles. I will not marry a man that I cannot suffer in my father's house and come and suffer in my marriage. That was what she told me. So fear, concerns about financial, repercussions, can also be a problem. Will this man be able to fend for me all through our lifetime? Will this woman be a liability? Total dependence. And another thing is, some men can marry and say, don't work. So, and if your man says don't work, you know what that means? It means that all your needs are on his table. When you say give me, he gives you when he feels like giving you. When you want, it's not when you get it. So you're getting what you want depends on his mindset, or depends on his state of mind at that time. He gives you only when he decides to give you. You can see somebody, you are a graduate, you have the potential to work and earn money for yourself and look good and do what you want to do. But your husband said, don't work. So you are afraid of that financial instability. Will he give me all the time? And if I work, what happens to the marriage and all of those things? So a lot of things, come up when it comes to financial instability. So another kind of fear that we can be looking at is I've mentioned, let's say under this point, there's what we call social stigma and support system. I'm still discussing the fourth kind of fear, the fourth type of fear, which is fear of divorce and its consequences. I've talked about emotional and psychological toll. I've talked about financial instability. I've talked about impact. Okay, let me talk about impact on children, because I've not discussed that. Singles, with children, or those considering having children, might fear the potential negative effects of divorce on their offspring. A woman will say, let me not be like my mother. A woman, I will divorce, when I leave this man, I marry and leave this man now, and my daughters want to marry. They'll be saying these children from a divorced womb, and it becomes a stigma. Or the young man will say, if I marry now and it becomes bad like my parents' marriage, they will begin to look at me like this young man whose parents cannot marry, So the potential impact on your offspring gives you fear. They might worry about how a divorce could, disrupt their children's lives, affect their emotional well-being. We know what broken homes can do. Children from broken home are really stable children, okay? They are really stable children. They are emotionally traumatized. Some of them are neglected. Some of them, they have been emotionally bastardized, and it becomes a problem. Even coping and adjusting becomes a problem. Even relationship becomes a problem. So they are afraid that what might happen to my children if I, leave this, I marry and eventually get divorced. Another thing under divorce is social stigma and support system. Singles might fear that there may be concerns about social stigma associated with divorce, as well as worries about the potential strain it could put on relationships with family and friends. What happens to my aged mother if I get divorced? She might just slum and die. What happens to my father when I get a divorce? If I go back, will he still accept me? What happens to my friends who are looking up to me and believing in me? If I get a divorce, what would that do to them? And then what happened to the society? How would the society look at me as a divorcee? Of course, the society already stigmatizes divorcees a lot, especially when it concerns women. They see divorcees as women who are divorced as prostitutes. They see them as women who cannot take care of a home. They see them as women who cannot marry. They see them as women who cannot, manage a home, and women who have some limitations. They just believe that the woman is at fault. And then when they see a man who is a divorcee, they just believe that he has a bad wife. So all of those things make people fear, when marriage is mentioned. Then another thing is impact on future relationships. Singles might worry about how a divorce could, impact their ability to form future relationships and find happiness again. When I divorce, will I still marry? Can a woman accept me as a husband, as a divorcee husband? Another person can believe that. A woman can say, if I divorce now and I have 2 children, I have 3 children, can a man still marry me? Okay, most of these concerns are the concerns that come into our minds as singles before we get married. These fears they might not be universal, but a lot of people have them. Not everybody gets bothered about, if I divorce, will I still marry? So I'm just saying, to hell with it. So that is why I say it's not universal, but there are common fears among singles. Then another thing is, another thing that can come up under impact of future relationship is that singles may be concerned about potential trust issues or baggage from the previous marriage affecting their ability to open up to, to trust someone again. I can imagine if you married a friend, and then as time progresses, the friend became the monster, and then you couldn't trust again. There was backstabbing and all of that. It will become a problem. It will become a challenge. Trusting another man or trusting another woman, say, all these people, wolves in sheep clothing, can I still love anyone? Before I got married, I was, after graduation, I did a volunteer job somewhere, I think in Cross River University. I did a volunteer job, and I was a lady who just lost her husband. And there were other men coming, other suitors were coming. One day she just opened up and said, Auntie, the man who is like my husband, I don't see him as anything. So, those kind of fears can come up too. Can I have somebody who is like him, or am I going to meet somebody worse than him? Am I just going to open up to another beast and all of that? So those fears come up. Another fear under divorce is legal complexities and custody battles. If I marry now and I have a divorce, and I have children, will this man just take all my children because he has money? Or will this man run away with my children? Those are common fears. Let me just see how I can speed up because our time is fast spent. Then the last kind of fear is loss of personal identity. The fourth one, loss of personal identity. There may be a fear of losing one's sense of self in marriage, especially if the partner has a strong opinion, or a dominating personality. If you marry a man who is dominating, he will not allow you to kiss yourself. If you marry a woman who is dominating, he will not allow you to showcase yourself. Let me use this analogy of a popular film actor. I won't call his name. He died recently. What were the stories surrounding his death? He was shining as a film actor, and then along the line he got married. And when he got married, the woman did not allow him to showcase himself anymore. He was behind the scenes. We couldn't see him for a long time. And then before we knew it, things became bad and all of that. So if you marry a partner who is domineering, whether wife or husband, they will not allow you to showcase yourself. They will not allow you to live out your life to show your full potentials and all of that. So the singles might worry that they'll be expected to conform to their partner's way of thinking, to their partner's lifetime, to their partner's potentially leading, or that may potentially be leading to loss of their own individuality. So the fear of losing one's personal identity in the context of marriage revolves around concerns that, that entering into a marital partnership might lead to a sense of self, being overshadowed or compromised by the dynamics of the relationship and all of that. So There are other ways we can balance this. Let's look at the last fear before we think of how to balance. I've talked about fear of financial problems. So let's see, how do we balance this? How do we help ourselves? How do we balance this? So before you marry, please, before you marry, try as much as possible to attend premarital classes. Premarital classes. Understand who you want to marry first and foremost. There is no need jumping into, a marriage relationship, knowing very well that it's a lifelong relationship. A lifelong relationship. There are a lot of points I would have presented, but our time, I know the speaker, the host told me I was to speak for 30 minutes and I've spoken more than 30 minutes. So I'm trying to see how I can run along and see how I can at least give some other points, because I have to know how can this fear, be addressed. I want to address this fear. Number one, you cannot marry yourself. You're marrying somebody, okay? Whether you're a wife as a husband, you're marrying somebody. So before you marry, there should be open communication and trust. Foster honest communication about your concerns. Whatever those fears are, put them on the table and trash them together. Your expectations should be put together or brought on the fore. Discuss them. Building a foundation of trust and transparency can help both the partners feel heard and understood. How many children do you think we should have? I am a worker, I am a graduate. I still want to work after marriage. I hope you will not stop me. I have family members. What do we do? How many can they be coming to our house? No. Your family will not come. My own will not come. Okay. Should we have a housemate? Yes or no? Are we going to have a personal account or a joint account? Yes or no? Let there be communication before marriage. And then attend premarital counseling. Most churches do that. There's an open room for premarital counseling. Consider seeking it because it's important. And it has to be from qualified, either pastors or counselors or therapists. Let it be from qualified people. If you're seeking marital counseling, let it be in church or from a counselor. This can provide a safe space to discuss potential issues, learn communication skills, and establish a strong foundation for, the marriage. Then another thing you can do is shared values and goals. How do you do that? Ensure that you and your partner share fundamental values, such as beliefs, life goals, and priorities. Of course, if you are a Christian and you want to marry, you know that if you marry a Muslim, then you have compromised. If that is what you want, so be it. If you are a Muslim and you want to go into marriage, and you decide that you want to marry a Christian, know that you are ready to compromise in totality. So let it be known. Your life goals and your priorities, let it be shared values. Aligning on this core aspect can provide a strong foundation for a lasting partnership. Another thing that you can do, to address these concerns, practice conflict resolution skills. Are you the nagging type? Before marriage, work on yourself. Are you the one who keeps late nights? Before marriage, work on yourself. Are you the one who, do you pick things? There are wives who steal small things. There are husbands who steal small things. Are you that type? Your wife keeps money, you carry. Or do you think if you're the type who picks money in your house, let me not go and pick this man's money and she insults me. Oh God, please help me. Let me not go and pick this man's money and it becomes a problem. So are you the fighting type? At every outburst, you just begin to break the things in the house. Practice conflict resolution skills. This includes active listening, expressing yourself clearly, and finding mutually agreeable solutions to disagreements. Learning how to navigate conflict constructively can strengthen the relationship. So there's no need to be afraid. Just do the needful before marriage. Another thing you can do to address these concerns is Try as much as possible to undergo financial planning and transparency. Are we going to have the same account? At every month, if it's not a joint account, how much do I bring for the upkeep of the house and all of that? Just enter into those, go into those understanding to see how you can help yourself when marriage comes. Another thing is emotional support and understanding. Prioritize emotional support and understanding. I'm a therapist, I'm a psychologist. I believe so much in mental well-being. I believe that everybody can be happy. Everybody can be mentally sound and mentally fit if you practice what you should practice. So emotional support and understanding is key. And in a relationship, it ensures that both partners feel valued, respected, and supported during both good times and challenging times. You're not the type that when your husband doesn't have money anymore, you start shouting and insulting him. You're not the type that when your wife doesn't have money anymore, you begin to, starve her financially and otherwise. It's not too favorable. So practice emotional support and understanding. Another thing you can do to, address this concern is continuous relationship maintenance. Just know that when you're into marriage, your relationship must be maintained and nurtured at all times. This includes spending quality time together, engaging in shared activities, and expressing affection and appreciation all through your lifetime. Know that as you're going into marriage, I love you does not cease. I'm sorry does not cease. Okay. So another thing you can do is seek professional help when needed. Seek professional help. Don't hesitate to seek professional help. Dr. Achi Bekomson is available on LinkedIn. Okay. Of course, my number is there. I can help you. A marriage counselor, a psychologist, or a therapist can provide guidance, can provide tools and strategies for addressing specific fears or challenges. Then cultivate individual identities. Encourage each other to maintain individual interests. If your husband is a football type, if he loves football, allow him. If he's the type that loves sitting out with friends, allow him. Let his hobbies be his hobbies. Don't change them. Let your wife still maintain her hobbies. Don't change them. Okay, if your wife has friends, accept the friends that she has. If I don't believe in a married woman having unmarried friends, no, I don't believe in that. And I don't equally believe in a married woman having too many friends, because too many friends, okay, they are not healthy for a relationship. So if you are the type of woman that you have all the friends in the world, your circle of friends is a large one. When you get into marriage, try as much as possible to reduce them. And then your hobbies too should be in tandem with your husband's hobbies, even though you're not completely going to decline or run away from your hobbies because you want to marry, whether you are a woman, whether you are a man. This helps prevent a sense of identity loss, and allows both partners to continue growing as individuals within a marriage. Love can be cultivated. Love can always blossom if you just allow each other space. And another thing you do is to get identity doesn't mean you can be piffing on your husband's phone or your wife's phone. She keeps her phone, you pick, you try to browse to see what is there. No. Know that in marriage, there are space. Give each other the space that is needed. And then the last but not the least, how do you curtail this, or how do you address these fears? Adaptability and flexibility. Adaptability and flexibility. Be willing to adapt and adjust as the relationship evolves, okay? Whether during courtship, be willing to adapt. Flexibility is handling life's change or changes and challenges together can contribute to the overall stability of a marriage. Be flexible. Not every time, no, no, no. Or every time, yes, yes, yes. Be flexible. Create a balance. Remember addressing the fears of divorce or any other fear that singles may nurse in an ongoing process that requires mutual effort. You can't do it alone. Discuss with your partner or your partner to be, understanding and commitment from both partners who, work or do be a good deal, and be actively by actively working together, to strengthen the relationship. Couples can just build a foundation of trust and resilience that can help alleviate these concerns. So thank you very much. I hope I've touched almost every aspect of the fears or the concerns that you have as a single. Thank you very much. Hello? Hello?
I think the network is really bad on my end. Can you hear me now, ma?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma, for that amazing session. I'm sure that many of us have questions and we are willing to ask. For those of us that have questions, I'd want you to get ready to ask them. If you can type, but if you have a question, could you please wave your hands? There's a reaction for waving hands here. Or better still, just put it in the comment section. Let me check. But before then, as I await us to ask our questions, honestly, I have something to say to Dr. Bekomson. You know, when she was explaining the aspect of having to ask important questions in relation, it got to me that part of um having to ask your partner, would do you permit people to visit? Do you not? How do you think this works? Because I've seen it in a lot of society today. You know, I've seen it in my environment a lot, where one partner wants his family, and then the other partner does not even want anybody to visit. I know these are one of the things that scare with singles, you know, the constant disagreements, and it's like they don't have something mutual. They don't have something they agree on. There are some homes that are very early in the morning, they're already shouting on each other. Honestly, because we live in a society whereby your neighbor is like your family. So when you're hearing this shout, there's no how it would not get to you. And as young people who are preparing for the next phase of marriage, it is actually really important that we find a ground, like a fundamental ground. Like you said, we have to find a fundamental thing that we and our partner, whosoever we want to settle down with, something we both agree on. You know, we can't just enter into a lifetime, life with a lifetime investment. Don't let me call it an investment, a lifetime journey with somebody that we barely agree on. No, we barely agree on anything. So it's really crucial that we ask these questions. And Dr. Bekomson has given us an idea on such questions to ask. You know, in today's world, people are just dating for dating reasons, and people just feel once you get out of school, or once you're of age, once you're 22, once you're 23, the next thing is to get into marriage, and you want to just find somebody that could be your partner. We don't consider this important aspect of the fact that marriage is not just something that we should go into, we should just force into, but it's like a process. We have to plan it because our lives can either be made or marred by our marriage. So thank you so much, Ma. Let me see the comments. Nobody had questions. Let me see your be honest right now. We don't have questions. Yeah, I know she was precise in her delivery. I know she was straightforward. She shared relatable examples with us. But still, don't you have questions? Probably something is bothering you, or you are dating somebody, and then the person is showing you some signs, and you're already deeply in love, and you don't have to get out with something. You can ask this question. So Bekomson is capable of answering them because she's also a psychologist. I know you will say educational psychologist, not psychologist. She's a psychologist. So she's capable of helping us with answers to these questions. So if there's anything that you're worried about concerning relationships, you should ask, honestly. Kindly ask if you have questions, all right? You can ask questions. Yeah. All right, so ask questions. We don't have questions. Okay, so I'll just ask my own questions. Since we don't have questions, it's making it.
Hello, Faith.
Ma? Yeah.
Wait, just a minute. Grace is raising up her hand. Grace.
Yeah, I've seen Grace's question.
Somebody in the
Thank you
room
so
is
much,
raising.
Grace. I've seen a question. Thank you so much. I see your question right there. Okay. So Dr. Bekomson, did I
Yes.
agree with this question? Here it is. I agree with you, ma. She says, you advise we practice open communication. My question now is that what do you advise a person to do when he or she has a partner who doesn't like to ask questions or feel uncomfortable with questions? That's the question, ma'am.
Okay. How will
Yeah.
what do I advise somebody to do?
Yes, when they have a partner that doesn't like to be asked questions or a partner that feels uncomfortable with questions.
If a partner is uncomfortable with question, then there's a potential danger.
Exactly.
Then there's a potential danger. Just know that when you marry such a person, you're in what do I put it? How do I put it? You're marrying a man who doesn't want to be asked questions. It means that, or a woman who doesn't want to be asked questions, it means that she wants to be the Lord at all times. Okay, because if you marry a commander, that's somebody who doesn't want to be asked. He only wants his own what he says to be. Then there's a potential danger, because it means that there won't be a communication, and when there's no communication, there's going to be a breach in transmission in that marriage. That marriage is going to hit the rock, because by asking questions, you get to understand each other. By asking questions, you get to know each other's likes and dislikes. By asking questions, you get to know the way forward in a lot of things. So if there's a person or a partner who doesn't want to be asked questions, then there is a potential danger. There's a potential danger.
Thank you so very much, ma.
What advice you do is, you can be, ask your questions in rhetoric manners. When you're discussing, just use an analogy to ask your question. Okay, just use an analogy. You can use it. You can let it be a story, like storytelling. You're asking a question, but you're making it look as if you're gisting him about somebody else.
Okay. That's really why.
You answer your question in the midst of the discussion without you putting the question directly to him. Let's say, for instance, now, a man doesn't want you to ask questions, but you have something bothering you, like, can my mother live with me, assuming I get married to you? You now say, there's one friend I know, her husband does not allow her mother to live with them at all. In fact, anytime her mother tries to come, she just says, I don't want it. And hear what he says. His response is your answer.
Yes, ma. Thank you so very much. That was really explicit. Even she affirmed her response. She's really grateful for the response she gave to her question, ma. So there is this second question, and that will be the last question for today. The person says, how do you relate with a stubborn partner who isn't flexible, but bent on her ideas, especially when she was raised by a single parent?
Yeah, a potential partner who is very stubborn. Of course, you already answered the question. She was raised by a single parent. Children who are raised by a single parent depends on, that parenting styles also help in shaping a child's attitude and behavior in a long run. So maybe when the child was with the single parent, he or she was over pampered, one, or he or she was over bullied, two. So because of that, it's a double way. Either the child would be flexible or not flexible. If the child was bullied, of course, that alone is enough to make the child very rigid. If the child was over pampered too, and if the child was always having his or her way, that too can make the child over flexible or very rigid too. So when you have a partner, a potential partner who is very stubborn and very rigid, try to discuss with the partner. Let the partner know what you want and what you don't want. Remember very, very well that marriage is not a do or die thing. And when you're married, you know that you're married for life, except you want to divorce in the long run. So choose a partner that you can live with.
Mm.
Most times you cannot change a person that you have already married. Let me give you a story. I had a friend, a childhood friend. When she was to marry, she had a barrister they were going out with. And this barrister was a bad womanizer. And she was always crying. And then I told her, say, why not leave now? She said, no, I love him. I will change him. They were always fighting as when they were in courtship. And she eventually married the man. She couldn't change. That was what killed her. She had high blood pressure and then she died at it. So change a partner while in marriage. If the partner cannot change while courting, and you know very well that you cannot stand this attitude or this behavior of his or hers that you're trying to change, and please look somewhere else. Because marriage can either make you or mar you.
Wow. Thank you so very much, Ma. I was confessed I had a really amazing question, and I'll do well to leave to say again because it's so much to say. So a question just came in, and I already said that was the last question, but this question is crucial to be attended to. And so I would not want to be the reason why the person did not get a response. I know it's already 5. Please, Ma, we would beg for just a few more minutes, just a couple of minutes. If it's fine by you, Ma, I'll read the question out now.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. The person says, I'm in love with someone whom we talk about everything, supports me, and he loves me too. There's really no difficult conversation between us. He's open to me too. Sometimes I'm sure he's the one for me. Sometimes I'm not. How do I know he's the one for me? Secondly, Ma, did you get that first question? I'll read it again.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, Ma. Then the second question, she says, I'm finding it difficult to observe his defects or things that I don't like in him. How can I find out his weakness? That's the second one, Ma.
So you have a partner who is so good, you can't even find out any fault with him. You're still looking for fault to dig out. That's a look that is the Mr. Right or Miss Right for you. He loves you, he supports you, he cares for you. What more do you want as a woman or as a man? Every woman or every man wants somebody who cares, supports, and loves her. You communicate effectively, then that's the Mr. Right. There's no need to dig out what is not there so that you don't run into trouble. There's no need to dig out what is not there. But it depends on how long too, okay? Because what I've discovered over the years is that if the period of courtship is very short, people can pretend. Hello?
Yes, Ma.
The period of courtship is so short, people can pretend to get away with their pretense until marriage. But if you want to really understand him, just extend the period of courtship a little longer, and then let's see how it goes. But for now, just enjoy your relationship.
Thank you so much, Ra. So this person, because the person asks a question that is not in line with
what do we do in this situation?
Yeah.
If you have been diagnosed of breast cancer, please go to the hospital at once. See a doctor, see a specialist at once. At once, and then pray about it. There's nothing God cannot do.
Yes,
what God
Ma.
does not exist.
Yes, Ma. Thank you so much. You have a beautiful smile, Ma. Thank you for taking out time to lecture us, and you took us all in. You did not just explain, but you absorbed us with your words. And I'm sure that a lot of us have gotten insights. And for those of us that are scared of marriage and we have been like, oh no, this marriage thing is not for me, at least we've gotten some sort of redirection.
I want to handle now. There's a question here. How do you approach a friend who is married for 6 years with no child? The husband wants to leave the marriage. A child is not something that anybody can just pick from the gutters, okay? So if you are married for 6 years and your husband is threatening to leave, discuss with him if he will accept adoption. Sometimes when you adopt a child, it brings good luck. That alone can open up your womb and, you're able to have children. So discuss adoption. Consider adoption if it's possible, please. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. That will be all from Dr. Bekomson. I appreciate those of us that started with us when we started this, and for those that are joining between, those that joined even at the end, you all are MVPs. And the dates for next edition of the Singles Hangout will be shown to us in a while. Would get back to us, especially if you are in the WhatsApp community. You can always get updates on how to navigate this phase of singlehood. But before then, I'd love to call our founder, Mrs. Yabo Yawale, to take the podium now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining. I've been sort of, let me say, disjointed kind of because I'm trying to tend to my baby at home, and I'm so glad we had Dr. Achi. I knew it was gonna be an explosive session. I just knew it. And I'm so grateful to her for agreeing to do this. At their level, it comes with a lot of humility to agree to this kind of engagement. And I really appreciate your time, Doctor, this afternoon or evening. God bless you, ma. I appreciate you dearly. Thank you so much. And I'm just blowing kisses from here. Thank you, Doc. God bless you. And I wanted to say, because our time is gone, I just wanted to say that if you are here and you are not in our WhatsApp group, please find a way to get in. Message us. You can send a message to +234-803-356-4055. I'll send you the link. +234-803-356-4055. That's MTN. Please get in touch. Get help for yourself. This life is not difficult if you know how to receive help. Relationship matters require help. Let's not lie to ourselves. Look at all the things she's talked about now. There are so many things she has simplified that were like loads in our hearts. So let's get help for our relationship matters. Join the WhatsApp community. We are not selling anything there. We are helping one another with information and know-how and our personal experiences. And I'm not the only person there. There are other experts there who will help you with your issues. So please find a way to join the WhatsApp community. The number once again is 0803 356 4055. Just message that you want to join the Singles Hangout community and we'll add you to that community or we'll give you the link to join. God bless you and thanks for joining this explosive session. I'm so grateful to have you in the house. And thank you, our program coordinator. You've done so well. God bless you. And I hand over to our program coordinator. Is she in the house, Faith? Are you in the house? She seems to have gone off. Okay. So in the absence of any question, we are already some minutes past 5 and the Bible says, let your ear be ear and your nay, nay. In the absence of any questions, I would like us to call it a day. Thank you so much for your time and keep a date with us on the Singles Hangout for October. We do this every month, by the way, for those of us who are just getting to know about this program. We do it towards the end of the month, every month, by the grace of the Almighty. So keep a date with us in October. We'll share more details, and that explains why you should connect with us on WhatsApp so you can have more information. And of course, we're also on YouTube. For those of us who are just joining, There are so many editions we have done, and you can get the video. The replays are there for you to watch. They are free. There's no charge to it. Please get on YouTube. Look for us. We are at HAUS of Wisdom. HAUS of Wisdom. Our own house is HAUS, not so please note that when you are looking for us on YouTube and what other information. Okay, I believe that is all. Thank you so much. But if you want to bug, you want to buzz, or you want to say, oh, let me see the messages. How do you cope with a jealous guy that has not yet married? Was this question answered? Wow. Okay, so let me see if I can talk about that. Anyway, if a guy is already showing signs of jealousy while you are dating, I'll say it's a no-no. For me, it's a major red flag. Major, because you got your life to live. He's got his life to live. And I believe in the law of individuality in marriage. The fact that we are married together doesn't mean that I've lost myself or you have lost yourself. And so when you have a situation where a partner is watching your every move, he wants to check your phone, he wants to know where you went, it's a major red flag. Because you won't be able to live your life, and you've got to be able to live your life to be happy in their marriage. So many women are not happy in their marriages because they've been absorbed into the lives of their partners, and it shouldn't be so. A man should be able to live his life after marriage. A woman should be able to live her life after marriage. And of course, we come together to take care of stuff that involve us as a couple. And so, for me, it's a major red flag. I don't think you can cope with a jealous guy who has not, when you've not even married him. That means that for everywhere you go, in fact, you won't even have an issue of, oh, my boss had an emergency and I had to go to Lagos Island unplanned. And he will be like, my friend saw you in Lagos Island. What were you doing there? That means you went to see one of your boyfriends. Can you just relate to that kind of scenario? I don't think it's healthy. Yes, and I'm all for emotionally healthy relationships because I know that when the emotions are hurt, it causes a lot of issues. And so emotionally healthy relationships are what we should aim for. And so in that kind of a situation, it's emotionally unhealthy. But I can imagine you coming from a trip and then your hobby or your boyfriend is picking up your phone and he wants to know who sent you a message, who called you. That is emotionally unhealthy. If no one has told you, I am telling you. And so for me, it's a major red flag. I won't even proceed with that kind of relationship. That means he's got issues that he has to deal with. And until he deals with those issues, you won't be happy with him. That's the honest truth. So I believe I've been able to answer that question for Otiling, who asked the question. So thanks for joining. Bye bye. October edition beckons. Keep a date with us. Send your details to 0803 356 4055. And if you're outside Nigeria, add the +234 code so we can engage with you on WhatsApp. So bye bye and have a fantastic Sunday evening. Thank you for your time.